Or if I'm teaching from my home office, I put everybody in a big circle. And as soon as I came in this room, I realized that's probably not going to happen today. The reason that I love the circle is because it creates this beautiful sacred space and it creates a closed space. So what I would love for you to do right now is just take a moment and imagine that we're all sitting in this beautiful circle. We're all the same space. We're all the same level. We're able to see each other. We're able to look into each other's eyes. And so when you're looking at the back of the person in front of you's head, imagine that you can see their face. Maybe even smile at the back of their head so that they can feel that beautiful energy. I'm really excited today to share this workshop with you because this is the first time that I have brought this workshop out into the public. So I'm really excited to see how you respond to it. I'm really excited to see what it brings out for you. And I'm really excited to hear what you feel comfortable sharing with, especially after we do the exercise with each other. I'll give you a little bit of a quick background on myself. First of all, my name, I'm Megan Edge. I'm a healer here in Victoria. I do what I call mind, body, and soul healing. It's a one-stop healing shop. I do intuitive counseling, I do soul work, soul retrieval, past life work, I do energy work, and also physical body work. I teach and I write and I create healing products. So on my table here today I've brought my book and my oracle cards, the Heart's Journey Healing Hearts oracle cards, as well as my line of nature essences and my line of chakra oils. And you're more than welcome to come out afterwards and have a play and a sniff and a look at the oracle cards, and you can even pick your own heart card to take with you today. But I'm not going to be talking about oracle cards or my essences today. I want to talk with you today about your life questions. This is what most people come to me with, these big life questions. And each person's life questions are different. One person's life question may seem insignificant to somebody else, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. What is important to you, the questions that you are asking yourself about your life and how you want your life to be, and how you can achieve and manifest the dreams and desires that you have in your life is what we're here to talk about today. So how this technique that I'm going to share with you today came about was through a session with a client of mine. That's where most of my teachings come from, is what I learn through each of the sessions that I do for my clients, whether it's information from spirit or my client's information and learning, and then I put it all together and then I bring it back out into the world to share. Because if it works for one person, it's going to work for a lot of people. So here's what happened. Sitting in a session with my client, and he starts posing these statements. He starts making these statements. I don't know how. Fill in the blank. I don't know how I can go traveling around the world. I don't know how I can find my dream job. I don't know how I'm going to meet the woman of my dreams. And I heard, stop him right there. I said, okay, stop right there, because they just told me to stop you right there. I said, listen to what you're saying. You're saying, I don't know. So guess what? You don't. And you won't, because you will not be able to hear your own answers, or the answers from your higher self, or spirit, or God, or goddess, or whoever you speak to, as long as you convince yourself that you don't know. It stops the flow of information right there. And it creates this beautiful reality of, I don't know. And so you go through life not knowing. And that's a really frustrating way to go through life, right? Because you look around you and you feel like everybody else is getting it, and somehow you're not getting it. And it must be something wrong with you. No, it's nothing wrong with you. But change the way you're making your statement. What if you said instead, I'd love to know how I can make my dreams come true. I would love to know how I can meet my dream person or how I can travel the world. Because the moment you say, I'd love to know, the universe can say, good, here. Here's the information. Here's the connection you need to make. Here's the person who can now come into your life. So I want to share with you the channeling that came through when I had this session with this particular client. Word for word, this is what Spirit said. Spirit said, sit with the question, how can I make it work? What if the question is valid? So this is the other piece of this technique. Oftentimes, when we say, I don't know how, or even if we say, well, how can I? It's impossible. We come up with all the reasons why we can't. And we feel often angry even at the question itself. We get really frustrated. Have you ever had that experience of just feeling, well, how can I? How is it possible? So again, we shut the information off. What Spirit said is, what if the question is valid? The moment you answer your fears and anxieties, they are no longer your fears. They become your allies. Think about that for a moment. That was really profound when my client and I heard that. Think of your fears and your anxieties as your allies. What if they've been trying to be your friend all this time, and you've been pushing it away or getting hooked into it instead of asking, why is it showing up in the first place? What does it have to tell me or share with me? Or what direction is it trying to take me in? Act on them instead of squashing them. It's a brilliant system. You just haven't been taught how to navigate this way of thinking. When the same questions keep coming up, you are meant to pay attention. When the same questions keep coming, oh, I read that already. When the same fear, yeah, see, there we go. It's coming up again. When the same questions keep coming up, you're meant to pay attention. Okay, everybody got that? Okay, move on. When the same fears and doubts come up, they are here for a reason. Answer them. And then you have your solution. Most people think that the questions are what are preventing them from realizing their dreams and desires. This is Spirit still talking. Spirit says, build the bridge with the way in which you answer your own question or the questions of others. The questions have value. They are being asked for a reason. Change your relationship with the question and invite the questions in and then answer them. It changes everything and opens you to the options the answering of the questions can provide you with. Sit with the question and give them an answer. The questions are important. It is not the questions that are holding you back. They are simply waiting to be answered. So sit for a moment with that and think of a time when you said it, maybe it's even something that's happening in your life right now. How could I possibly? And change the emotional way in which you're saying that question. How could I possibly? Come from a place of curiosity and wonder about that question rather than an immediate denial of its possibility. Go into what is possible first before you go into what is impossible. So can you feel how different that energy is now? It changes everything. It's only going to bring the right stuff. You can go into these questions and get angry with yourself for asking the questions as if the question reflects some failing in yourself. How can I do this? Who am I to climb that mountain, sail that sea, or create that dream? Again, this is Spirit talking. Great sense of humor. But they don't represent a failure. They are simply waiting for you to ask them. So think about how you can climb that mountain. What practical things do you need to do or have in place or overcome to climb that mountain? The only reason you don't know something is that you aren't ready for it. That's all it is. It takes the pressure off. Let the question come into your mind and answer them. Anything you do for yourself is the best use of time. I loved that sentence. When I went back over the recording and the channeling and I read that, I thought, anything you do for yourself. Brush your teeth in the morning. Heed the call of nature. Have that chocolate bar. Anything you do for yourself is a beautiful use of your time. So the last part of the channeling says, a wish is only as good as the action you are willing to take to fulfill it once the wish has been stated. In and of itself, the statement of the wish reminds you of what you think isn't possible for yourself. So think about that. Oh, I wish I could climb that mountain. But obviously I can't, right? But I wish I could. The wish is a beautiful thing only if it motivates you and propels you to feel what that would be like and then follow that feeling to the outcome of that, standing on that mountain, right? So what Spirit is saying here is the wish is not enough. The wish is kind of a cop-out. The wish is simply reflecting what you don't believe is possible. And until you're willing to say, I am going to climb that mountain, and I'd love to know how that's going to happen, it's just a wish that keeps you stuck in the thought of it, but doesn't propel you into the action of it. The want or desire for something is much more powerful. So feel the wish and then move beyond it into the desire for the outcome you are projecting into the future and with that wishing. I received an email just the other day from this client who we had this session with. It was such a great email. Because in it he said, remember 3 months ago when we had that session and all that stuff came in about the doing and the direction showed up during the session, and I was kind of shaking my head and saying, yeah, I really can't see how that's possible. I'm writing to you from Salt Spring. I'm here for 3 weeks on my own with just my heart, just like you said, just like Spirit said. And he made it happen because of the channeling that came through. Because instead of being in that energy of, well, yeah, that'd be great to just disappear for 3 weeks on the Salt Spring, but how am I possibly going to do that? I've got this, and I have this, and this responsibility, and that. I said, just think of it being possible, and then see what happens. And so there he is, doing this thing he thought was impossible for him to do. And in the greater scheme of things, 3 weeks on Salt Spring Island might seem like, yeah, it's not Mount Everest. It was a huge thing for him to step out of the life he was living in which he was very unhappy and say, I'm going to take that time and I'm going to do that special thing for myself, and it's going to be a really good use of my time, no matter what the end result is. It cannot possibly be a bad or negative thing for yourself to listen to what those questions are and then do something about them. Now, in very practical, let's get down to earth, grounded, walking on this planet, you have to pay your bills. You've got a rent or a mortgage. You have a job or your work that you do. You have friends and family, and you have responsibilities. Spirit gets that. That's part of being here. So this is where this technique becomes really functional and very practical. What can you do? Write it down. So this is the exercise that we're going to do. I'm going to take you through a really brief meditation just to get you focused, get you connected to your breath so that you can listen to the answers without filtering them, without judging them, and without coming up with all the reasons why you can't do the things that you hear when we start the writing part of this exercise. All right? So if you could please put your feet on the ground, or however your legs are most comfortable. Okay, and then hands. This position here, is anyone familiar with mudras, hand mudras? So different positions that the hands can be in that helps promote the flow of energy for various things that are happening in our lives or things that we need to heal. That's a whole other workshop. This particular mudra holds your energy in a circuit. So the energy comes in, where it comes up, it moves through the body, it comes out the hands, and when we're working with other people, we're healing, we're helping, we're shaking a hand, we're sending energy out through the hands. For the purpose of this exercise, you want that energy to be yours. So you hold just gently your hands like this, and then you can feel that that's you holding your energy sacred. Okay? And so closing eyes and just allow yourself to take a nice deep breath. And on the exhale, let yourself go heavy in your chair. Another deep breath in. And on the exhale, let your shoulders relax, let your belly relax. Another deep breath in. And on the exhale, connecting with your hips, feel your abdomen opening, releasing all and any energies that are blocking you, that are in the way, any worries, concerns, just feel them falling off. Okay, they're going into the ground, the earth is taking care of them. And so back to normal breath, I invite you to bring your awareness into your heart center, focusing on the feeling of your heart right now. And if it is feeling constricted, or if it feels like you haven't paid attention to it recently, or even if it feels wonderful and full and expansive, acknowledge that with a nice normal breath, breathing into the heart and opening it and clearing it of any doubts or worries, because it is your heart that will always speak to you in the truest way. Okay, and now bring your awareness to your third eye, this beautiful space between your eyebrows. This is one of your trust centers. This is the center that allows you to trust that you can make wise choices and decisions for yourself. And so again, just breathe into it, allowing anything to fall away, any doubts or worries or concerns that might be getting in the way. And lastly, bringing your attention all the way down through your body to your feet and your feet chakras. We want these to be nice and clear and open. Imagine your feet sitting in a beautiful bath of clear crystal water, and the water is helping to open up those feet chakras so you're connecting to earth energy and connected to that grounded energy that we need to answer these questions. Okay, and now invite into your awareness a question. A life question, something that is going on for you right now in your life that you've been looking for answers for. And once you feel that you've got that question, go to your notebook, without saying anything to your neighbor, write your question down. And don't worry about grammar, spelling, anything like that. Nobody cares. Just write that question or that statement as it's come in for you. And once you have your question, the how can I, or however it is that you've written it, however it's come to you, take one of those deep, clean, cleansing breaths in, exhale right into your center, and let the answers come to you. And write those answers down, without filtering them, without judging them, and without making them impossible. Your list might be quite long. There may be lots of ways that you can achieve these. So if you're still writing, that's fine. You can continue writing. I want to take this opportunity to share one of my own stories about this technique and how it worked so well for me. Although at the time I didn't realize that this is what I was doing. It was only in retrospect. As I was moving out of a 23-year marriage and relationship with 2 small children, the biggest question that was on my mind at the time, my life question, was, how can I do this? How can I do this with integrity? And how can I do this with authenticity? And how do I do this with the least amount of hurt to the people that matter most to me? And for a long time, I was not hearing any answers. At least not my own answers. I heard lots of other people's answers, and here's the other piece of this. When you have a life question, how am I going to travel the world? You're going to have a lot of people in your life who are going to tell you all the reasons why you can't or shouldn't follow that dream. Has anyone had that experience before? I'm going to start my own business. Well, what do you know about running a business? Well, I'm going to become a healer. Well, what do you know about healing? when somebody else poses a question like that to you, don't get defensive. Listen to it. Sit with it. All right. What did I know about becoming a healer? Well, I knew that people often came to me, just even as friends, and that after talking with me, they felt better. And they went off and they found their own guidance and their life changed. So there was some evidence that I could look at and say, well, here's a way that I know I can be of help to other people because I've already seen it. Who are you to run your own business? Well, who am I not to? But secondly, okay, that's a really good question. What do I need to know in order to have a business helping other people? Do I need an office? What kind of rent would I be paying? What would I charge for my services? So the questions that other people ask of you, no matter where those questions are coming from in their own lives, and recognize that sometimes those questions are coming from their love and concern from you, sometimes those questions are coming from the place in their life where they wish they had the courage to do what you're contemplating doing. But it doesn't matter where their questions come from. What matters is what you choose to do with that questioning. Because inevitably, the questions other people ask of you are the same questions you're already asking yourself. Right? So work with those questions. So the how could I take care of my two girls, maintain a relationship with their father, have a nice home for them, and take my work from part-time, sort of supporting the family while my husband did the full-time job, to it now needs to support me and my two girls. When I sat with the how, from that point of, yeah, I really want to do this. This is the work I love doing. How can I do it? The office showed up. The office mate showed up. The rent was amazing. The marketing showed up. People turned up for classes. It just started to flow. Because I said, yes, show me. Show me how I can do this. I had an empty house and an $1,800 a month rent and two little kids and me with no income. And I said, how can I make this work? So the landlady said, oh, I've been where you are. Let me help you. I want you and your girls to be in this place. I'll lower the rent for you. You can do some gardening for me in exchange. Wonderful. How do I afford $500 a month rent for my office space? Ah, I work at a home. I take my bedroom and I make it into the healing space. And I move into the smaller room. And now I'm not paying $500 a month rent. The solutions presented themselves because I chose to ask the question from the place of, how do I do this? Because that's what I really want to do. Instead of, oh my God, I can't do this, or it's never going to work, or right? So take that fear and anxiety and do something with it. Again, I'm getting covered in goosebumps. These are my truth bumps. You all have your own way of knowing when you've made a wise choice for yourself. And it might be goosebumps, it might be a flutter in your stomach, it could be a yawn, you might burst into tears. Each of you has your own way of knowing the truth of what the right choices are for you and what the solutions are for you, because your body is always going to support that which is for your highest good and that which takes you into the direction that you want to go in, that is in alignment with why you came here. This is what I've noticed anyways. Has anyone else noticed that too? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I'm going against my intuition and I'm continuing to do something that's not serving my purpose, I get really, really severe low back pain. And if I continue to not listen to it, it does not go away. And it doesn't matter how many adjustments I get or massages I get. It's been twice now that it's come up. And the last time I remedied it really quickly because I realized, oh, I'm here again. But the first time I thought, there's got to be something wrong with me, and I didn't look at the deeper meaning behind it, and once I made the decision that I needed to, everything shifted, and the same thing again the second time, everything shifted.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up. How do we recognize when we aren't asking the questions in a way that supports us? How do we recognize when we have been on this path that we set for ourselves and then somehow we've gotten way over here? The way the body talks to us will always tell us the truth of that if we recognize what the body is saying to us, what our emotions are telling us. I stayed in an unhealthy dynamic for far longer than most sane people would. Partly because I'm an internal optimist and I thought there would be a way to make it work. There has to be a way to make it work. And eventually, there was a need to go in different directions. And that can be with a relationship, that can be with your work, that can be with friendship, it can be with your dreams. There can be all kinds of times in your life where there's a need to separate out because the growth is complete within whatever that dynamic is. And that's when these life questions come in, isn't it? Right? Because in your day-to-day life, if everything's fine, the questions are going to be what to have for dinner and what are we going to do this weekend. You're going to come to a place in your life, though, most likely, most of us, that big wake-up call moment, where the life questions start to pop up. What am I doing with my life? Do I really love this work? Do I really love this person anymore? How am I going to move forward with this life? And what I'm inviting you to do through this technique is to look at those questions from this place of, ooh, this is exciting. I wonder how this is going to work out. I wonder what's going to show up that's going to help me move from what I know here is not working any longer to stepping into what is going to start working. How are we doing for time? I just want to check in. Does anybody got a watch? Just so we make sure we leave space for the next person.
12:35.
12:35. Yeah. Love how time gets bent in these kinds of sessions. Awesome. All right. So I will invite everyone to share, or those who feel like they want to share what came up for them with this, but I do want to give you just one more example and the happy ending that came from my listening to those questions and starting to work with them. I had been very, very ill for many, many years. I didn't know that the reason I was so sick was because of the dynamic of the relationship that I was in and all the things that I wasn't doing with my life that I came here to do, this path of being a healer and helping others, that I'd become so small in that dynamic that I didn't even know who I was any longer. And no one in my life knew what was going on behind those closed doors. When it became painfully, and when I say that I mean literally painfully obvious to me that something had to change, as those changes started to unfold, as those wake-up calls started to come in, as I could no longer put up my blinders and ignore and make it all work, the pain started to go away. And even after I stepped out of the dynamic of that marriage and that relationship, it took another couple of years because there was residual, right? It's like a layer, it's like a lemon, or not a lemon, huh? You make lemonade. It's like an onion, and you peel back those layers. But what I knew when I finally said yes to the universe, even though it took another 2 years to physically move out of that dynamic, and then another couple of years after that to really get my feet back on the ground, what I knew is that I wasn't in pain anymore, that my body didn't hurt. Because I'd said, okay, I surrender, what do you need me to do? And then the solution started to show up, the people started to show up, the human angels started to show up. And 4 years out of that dynamic, and 4 years going through that whole journey, I have a beautiful home filled with wonderful furniture, 90% of which we find when we do our curbside shopping here in Victoria. My girls are happy. My former husband has his new person in his life, and they're happy. And there's still struggles, but the pain isn't in my body the way that it was before, to the point where I couldn't even move. That pain isn't there. And now, like you said, if I get a pain, I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm not just going to let it be okay that my shoulder is killing me, literally, or that my back is really, really sore, or that I can't eat anything. I'm not going to let that be okay anymore. And I'm going to ask that fundamental life question, okay, what do I need? And then I'm going to listen. I'm going to hear. And then if I have time, and I say that facetiously, but then I'm going to take the guided action. And I'm going to do the things that I keep hearing in my mind would be beneficial for me to do, whether it's drink more water, go for more walks, phone that old friend because she's in a crisis that I can help her with, whatever it is. I'm going to then act on that. So with your question and with some of the answers that came in, does anyone feel comfortable sharing with the group what came up for you and what your solutions were?
How can I change or transition my work to something healthy? And I've got a whole list. Ask for help, stay open, keep my heart centered, wide open, don't close down no matter what's in front of my face, no matter what's coming at me. Meditate, obtain direction in silence, play, connect with nature, be my authentic self.
Excellent.
Be grounded and feel and release everything rather than, sometimes I feel like a sponge and I just absorb it in, and so I need to spend more time connecting with nature and grounding and that kind of stuff, just to sort of keep myself clear.
Excellent. Excellent. So then I would wonder about the next question that could be something along the lines of, how do I, or what will be the result when I do these things? So then see what comes in. Yeah. Okay. Because the question is, how do I change my career? Is that right? That's what you said? Yeah. So here are some techniques that she can use that her higher self has said you need to take care of yourself. Because what that list sounds to me like is a real nurturing list. Right? And being really true and real to herself. Because if she's really true and real to herself, then those people around her who may, I use this term hesitantly, but who may be falsely in a friendship energy with her because of how they think they know her, when she engages with her authentic self, if they don't love the vibration and energy of that, then they'll get out of the way, making room for new people who do connect with that energy and vibration of her authentic self to show up for her. And those may be the people who will say to her, sorry, can I have your name?
I'm Deb.
Deb. Those are the people who are going to say to Deb, hey, what can you do to make this happen? Or how can I help you make this happen? Or this is what I did and this is what worked for me when I had the same question. And so those people can show up now and give her the practical advice of their own experience because she's opened up to her authentic self. Yeah.
Oh, that, yeah. I like that sensation. It's just like, oh, how is that? Heart, finding, opening.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Deb.
the question was, what will be the result when
That's right.
this happens?
That's right. What will be the result when Deb starts to meditate, walk in nature, take care of herself? For Deb to be able to feel what that would be like, what that would look like, to really move into the energy of what that could be for her, that lets her know when it shows up that she's going to recognize it. Right? Because here's the other piece of this, the power of asking your question. If you don't know what it's supposed to look like for you, it could walk by you 100 times and you're not going to see it until you have a familiar feeling within yourself of what that feels like. Right? So what would it feel like for this question if you were to actually do all the things that came to you that you could do to make this manifest, to make this happen? What are you going to feel like when that happens? And then move into the feeling of that. I'm going to feel happy, I'll feel complete, I'll feel secure, I'll feel safe, and really feel into that solar plexus, the expression of that feeling, because then when it shows up in your life, you'll go, ah, that's what it felt like when I was thinking about what safety felt like. This is what it feels like. So now I know this person is safe for me to be with, or this path is safe for me to walk on. Because you've allowed yourself to identify what feels safe for you. Now you know that feeling, right? Would anybody else like to share? Step into your courage.
Yes. My question was about the next healing modality that I want to learn, because I feel like I'm ready to step into a new modality and go a little bit off to a different path than what I've already been doing.
Perfect.
And I've been hearing a lot of different answers from my guides, but I haven't really felt like the inspiration has truly dropped. So I asked, how am I going to hear these answers? And what was coming to me was to be content with the unknown right now. And just to sit with the possibilities that are going to open up, and embrace life and new connections and new opportunities and new learning experiences and new workshops and new juicy conversations to be had. And just to be okay with the path of the unknown right now.
Yeah. I love that you said that as well. Because here's again another piece of this. Sometimes you are supposed to be stuck where you are. And instead of pushing against that or struggling with it or going into anxiety around, I'm so stuck, I don't want to be stuck, everyone else is moving and I'm not moving. No. What if spirit, universe, your own higher self, yourself, is keeping you in a position or a place or a dynamic because there is still something you either need to learn from it, experience within it, know about it, or the answers and solutions haven't met up with you yet. And so your need is to simply be open to it, grateful for the place that you're in, and saying that with a cautionary, if you find yourself, and I say this to my clients as well, this is all well and good in a very spiritual, metaphysical way. If you are in physical danger or emotional danger, do not stay in that situation. Get help. Ask for help and get that help. The universe does not intend for you to be abused or hurt in any way. That is not. It happens and it can become part of our journey and it can become part of our learning. But don't stay because you think you need to learn something from it if there's physical or emotional damage being done to you. And that's very much the counselor in me, from having worked on the crisis line and done a lot of this kind of work for people. And my own experience, no. The question then becomes, how do I get help? And how do I get out? And who do I trust if that comes up? So, for whatever reason that's shown up, we're just going to let that sit. But it's taking me off topic. What was I talking about? Oh, the being stuck part. Right. So, if you're not in imminent danger, maybe the stuck is important because there's something that you still need to have that aha moment of. To prevent you perhaps from repeating the same pattern over and over again, universe and spirit says, stay right here, pay attention, look around, ask in this moment what is the most important thing for you to know. Then the energy may start flowing again for you. Okay. My personal experience of being stuck, it feels like I can't move. I feel like I'm in molasses. I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, and the same result keeps showing up. And then I go, oh right, that's because I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, and the same result is showing up. What if I tried it differently? Right? Okay, anybody else?
I was just thinking maybe the stuck is just that you haven't met that person that will lead you, or haven't been in that experience of like, oh, okay, that's why it's like that stuck is just the opportunity hasn't arrived quite yet.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
To be okay.
Because they're on their way.
Yeah.
They're on their way. And then you have this conversation somewhere in another dimension where you say, okay, I'm going to wait right here in Victoria. And so you're going to show up, and then we're going to have this connection. But then you start feeling kind of frustrated, and I've forgotten that conversation. I'm going to go to Tofino this weekend, and boom. Go with what's here every single time. Go with the first answer. And even if the questioning of that shows up, where your first answer is, oh yeah, I'm going to stay in Victoria, oh, but I do that every weekend, and I'd love to go to Tofino this time of year, and I can just make it work financially to do it. Go back. What was the first response? Listen to the first response. And if your reaction to the first response is, no way, that's totally impossible, stay in that first response and find out, like Deb did, what is the issue that's keeping me here? What is the core issue beneath this place that I find myself in? And as she shared with us so generously, for her it was the financial piece about not being able to afford to go to Peru maybe. But then it sounds like when you took a closer look at it, oh, it is possible after all. So the financial question was really more the fear of stepping into the dream. And the financial question showed up as the excuse to not step into that dream. You can make everything happen in your life that you wish to happen in your life that is for your highest good and your highest part and purpose. The challenge is in listening to the heart and listening to the gut, solar plexus, to know what that is. And to do that, it often takes this from all the other voices externally. The caring, loving mom, the caring, loving dad, the caring, loving boyfriend or girlfriend, all the friends, the sisters and brothers, who are all telling you what you can and cannot do based on their experiences of their own lives. And you can very gently say, thank you so much for your input. Now I'm going to listen to myself. And if you choose to do that, this is what I've noticed happens. It works. You get to do those things that you want to do in your life. There's a lot of rhetoric out there right now, especially in metaphysical circles, of you create your own reality and you can make everything happen and you can be a master manifester. It's all true up to a point. If you don't believe it, doesn't matter how many times you say it, up here, if you don't know it and feel it in here, then it isn't going to be true for you. So find out first what is true for you, and then move into the question of how can I make this happen.
So my question is, I used to facilitate workshops and retreats, and I haven't for about 6 years. And so my question is, how can I facilitate groups and healing retreats again? And so I said, I can network really well, I can partner with others really well, I can co-facilitate really well, I can open up again, because I think that's part of it, is I think I just haven't been ready to open up. I have lots to offer, I can attract people, this is my path. I can book the space and they'll show up, I can take the time and they show up. Yes. I can stay in the yes. Yes. It is time to shine again. It is time for full circle living again. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now that Maggie has opened up to all those yeses, universe, spirit, higher self can go, good. Let's connect her with the person who has the space at a price that is affordable. Let's connect her with the person who can say, I've got the marketing experience and I can take you to that next level. Let's put these people in front of her because she's now said yes, which means that Maggie's going to recognize who those people are when they show up and what that help feels like when it shows up for her. And then a year from now, we're all going to be going to Maggie's retreats and her workshops because she's ready to shine. I love that you've said that, and that's what I want to leave each of you with as we close down this beautiful workshop. First, I want to thank you all for being here and being open to this, and I hope you have a fabulous day. I also invite you all to really shine in your own lives, for yourself and for the people around you. And just wake up every morning and say yes, and then notice what shows up for you. Thank you, everybody. If you did not receive a notebook, please come and see me at my table. And I do also want to let you know that today for the show, my book, The Healing Heart's Journey, or The Heart's Journey, Healing Heart's Oracle Cards, the whole set, is on sale for $25. So that's half what it goes for in retail. We're about to engage with Balboa and Hay House, and it's going to go global. So this is the last time you're going to see it in this particular manifestation. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.